Unless you want
Hey, my name is Steve. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey.
Hey, thanks, Pam, for asking the introduction. Yeah, yeah, my name is Steve. I'm an alcoholic, and I actually today I realized this morning that today is 9 months sober for me. It's definitely not my first time. I've been coming around to AA for almost 10 years, and I've, I like Pam said, I've slipped a couple times, but thankfully, you know, I think it finally got ingrained in my head enough to where I know that if I stay close to the program, it's, things are gonna be better for sure. So, but anyway, you know, I grew up in Wisconsin, and I have definitely the same thing that you hear people say all the time is like when I can remember the first time I got, good and buzzed up on alcohol, and it was like this huge, like it felt like a pressure relief valve or something. Like it was just like a huge, weight off my shoulders. It just had that kind of experience where it was like, you know, and it's right after that, I wanted to do it as much as I could, and I, you know, the next, I think the second time I drank, I just was already like blacking out. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just did like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 shots of something in a row, and then and then I like practically fell on the floor we went to the school dance or whatever, and I was just like, I can't, I don't know. It was just ridiculous when I think back about it. And then next thing I knew, I like stole a bottle of booze from the grocery store, and it just escalated pretty quickly, and you know, I just wanted to do it constantly as much as I could, and because I don't know, I felt I had as far, I mean, I can remember being just a real young kid, like, kindergarten, first grade or something, and having all this like anxieties and like depression and stuff. And so I think when I first drank, it was sort of just this magic elixir. I felt really good and just wanted to keep doing it. So I think for a long time, it kind of worked. It helped me sort of, I for a long time it worked. It wasn't that much. I wasn't getting into. It wasn't causing that many problems. I was having a lot of fun. You know, uh, like in high school and stuff. That's what we did in Wisconsin. We drove around, and is drinking and driving is a sport there. I don't know if you but I do remember, even way back in high school, like remembering that how disappointed I was if we couldn't get our hands on any on any alcohol or other extracurricular study materials. Uh, so I remember that really, where it was just like all of a sudden it wasn't as much fun. I couldn't have as much fun anymore if we didn't have like something. And that, I don't know, I just kind of remember that out of the blue, sort of. But so then, I went through high school and I went through college and I even, graduated. But I think by the time I was in college, like I was already getting pretty, starting to have some problems, and there was, also like suggestions about maybe I'm not shouldn't be doing it as much and stuff. And but I didn't want to have I was completely under that, mindset of that I can't, not do it. It's like it's how I get by. Like it's like my security blanket. It's like my best friend. I don't know how I would live without it. And and then I don't know, that just went on for a long time like that. It just kind of slowly just keep grinding away for like, I don't know, 10 years. And I was miserable for a lot of years. I had, problems with depression and just being miserable basically. And the funny thing is like, I don't know, it turns out it's not really that good idea to, if you have depression or anxiety, to like, you know ingest things that are depressants, or like that could possibly cause like, I don't know, paranoia or more anxiety or something. It's not a good idea. But it took me a really long time to figure that out. But I guess one thing I always try and remember is, I didn't really ever have problems like making friends or having friends, or, you know, and one of the things I try to remember is that, like, as time went on, I just became like less and less and less social. I had less and less desire or concern about like meeting new people, like making new friends, or like, so I moved down to Chicago after I finished college, and those were I, that's kind of like, those were some of the probably darkest years of my life, because I that's what was happening. I was like, I wasn't making any effort to like make new friends and like get involved in anything or social activities. So I started really, I think, spending a lot of time, alone, or just hanging out with my drinking buddy or something. And I think, that also escalated, or went downhill probably, actually, until eventually, like, I moved again and bought a house finally, like way outside of Chicago. And like, when I moved there, I made like zero effort to like get to know people in the community, or like, and so as a result, I was just like spending so much time alone, like entire weekends, like not talking to anybody and just like drinking and doing other, stuff. And it just got, worse and worse, to where where I started to get like suicidal again, having a lot of suicidal thoughts, and like, and basically I scared myself, because I was, thinking about that. Uh and eventually, I reached that point, like it says in the book, about, the jumping off place, where like for the longest time I couldn't imagine living without it because it was like my medicine for the longest time, and then but then it stops, you know. Every people say all the time, and I totally relate. You know that it was fun at first, and then it started to be fun with some problems sprinkled in, and then and then eventually it's just a whole bunch of problems, and there's not any fun happening at all anymore, and that's where I wound up. I mean, it's I don't know, it's crazy because when I first I finally went to AA like early 2012, and I was just I was out of ideas. You know, I was at that point like I couldn't imagine life with alcohol, and I couldn't imagine life without it. So I finally, you know, just decided that I mean I don't even know. It's like I was just plain out of ideas, and um the thing that's baffling is like you know I just thought like if I had to stop I would never have fun again. It would just be like the end of fun. And the the crazy thing is that I was, you know, I wasn't having any fun anymore anyway. It was over a long time ago. Fun, yeah, the fun was over a long time ago. But like the first 6 months, you know, I was sober 6 months when I first came, and I was like just I couldn't convince myself that I had this problem because I, you know, I was just, you know, the disease just kind of talks you out of it. You know, it'll be different and on and on and on. And so, but I don't know. Long story short, I mean, I, I had 6 months sobriety, and then I drank again for 6 months, and then I came back and had 2.5 years, and then I drank again for a year, and then I had 4.5 years or so, and then had another one. But I don't know, when I look back on it, it's like over almost 10 years. I mean, I've been sober for pretty much 8 of those, and I mean, if I can't, I don't even want to imagine like where I would be at if I hadn't have, you know, at least started trying. And you know, I don't want to get too disappointed about, you know, starting over again, because I mean my life over the last 10 years has been so much better than the previous 10 years. Is like light years better. And it's kind of like, I don't know, the whole first step thing with, you know, admitting your life was unmanageable. I had a hard time with that, I think, because, you know, because I never, you know, I always had a job, I had a car, I had, you know, a house and stuff. And so I thought I was keeping my stuff together, you know, good enough. But it's like, you know, the whole just like emotional and you know, emotional well-being, and like, you know, more than just material stuff. Like I was just miserable, and it really wasn't manageable when I think about it. And and so I mean at this point it's like I when I as long when I'm sober, it's like it is manageable, and it's like, you know, I can deal with stuff that comes up. And when I'm not sober, it's just like just a big mess, and I'm like, I can't deal with this or that. So anyway, I guess I'm already at 15 minutes. Huh? So yeah, it's for sure. All I know is that it's, for me, it's a hell of a lot better if I stay sober, and the only way I can do it is if I stay involved with AA, because it just doesn't work otherwise. I tried it a lot of times. So yep, that's what I got.
All right.